On our 7th wedding anniversary, I had a pair of diamond rings custom made as anniversary gifts. As I watched Kevin put the diamond ring on my finger, I spoke cautiously. "Honey, do you think we'll ever get divorced?" He scolded me, saying not to speak nonsense at such a happy moment. But right after he said that, he took a photo of the ring on my hand and sent it to another woman, with a note, "The ring is beautiful, but it would look even more beautiful on you." He didn't know that after that car accident 7 years ago, I awakened a superpower, the ability to see the countdown to any couple's divorce, above Kevin's and my heads. It read, 15. I used to desperately try to win his heart back, attempting to extend that number a bit longer, and then a bit longer again. But now, I'm tired, Kevin. I don't want you anymore. Chapter 1. The 2-month overseas training had finally come to an end. As I walked into the parking lot, I saw Kevin leaning against the car, waiting for me. A colleague next to me said with envy, "Fiona, I'm so jealous of you. You've been married to your husband for so many years, and yet your relationship is still so strong. Every time you go on a business trip, he comes to pick you up." Kevin, hearing this, scratched his head in embarrassment. I waved goodbye to my colleague, affectionately took Kevin's arm, and was about to compliment him. Suddenly, an Arabic numeral, 55, appeared above his head. The moment the number appeared, Kevin's demeanor seemed to change entirely. His eyes turned sharp, radiating a cold glimmer, and his expressionless face looked at me with indifference. "What will it take for you to divorce me? I'm really fed up with you. Hurry up and sign the papers. If you don't, I'll go to court." I was stunned. A fear that was beyond words instantly overwhelmed me. Instinctively, I took a step back, nearly stumbling, but Kevin quickly caught me, sounding concerned. "Honey, are you okay?" I shook my head, but my gaze remained fixed on the number above his head. I closed my eyes and took a sharp breath. 7 years ago, on my way to have lunch with Kevin, I was hit by a large truck and thrown to the ground. I was in a coma for 3 days in the hospital, and when I woke up, I had developed a superpower. All I had to do was lightly touch someone, man or woman, as long as they were married, and I could see how much time they had left until divorce. Sometimes, I could even see a vision in my mind of their divorce moment. I secretly tested this superpower many times. The countdown above my parents always displayed X. Even though they argued every day and constantly bickered, they couldn't be separated and were still a happily married couple. X in the countdown meant uncertainty. No fixed term, essentially. A match made in heaven. A relationship that would never end in divorce. But my aunt, who often showed off her affection for her husband in front of us, had a countdown above her head that read, 9. I nervously counted the days. And finally, on the penultimate day, my aunt and uncle fought fiercely, insisting on getting a divorce. My parents came back from my aunt's house and told me that my uncle was addicted to gambling and even mortgaged their house. When my aunt found out, she demanded a divorce, and by dawn, the two of them had already gone to the civil affairs office to finalize it. At a college reunion, I saw an Arabic numeral, 16, above my classmate Elise's head. I found it unbelievable at the time. After all, Elise was the first among us to get married, and she had married into a wealthy family. Half a month later, Elise announced her divorce on social media. The reason? Her husband had been supporting another woman and had an illegitimate child. Although my superpower had proven itself true, I always kept it to myself. Not getting involved in other people's destinies was my rule in life. Until I married my childhood friend Kevin. Kevin was 2 years older than me. When I was young, I was timid and fearful, especially when facing danger. It was evident when I froze in terror, unable to move, just from a vicious dog barking at me. Because of this, I often got bullied. But Kevin was like a superhero who descended from the sky. He would chase away the barking dogs, walk to and from school with me, buy me snacks, and help me with my homework. He would say, "Fiona, I'll protect her. No one is allowed to bully her." We went to the same middle school, high school, and only briefly separated for college. In my junior year, I returned to my hometown for an internship and met him again. On the day of the first snow, he confessed his feelings for me. After dating for a year, He couldn't wait any longer and proposed. After we got married, Kevin became the perfect husband. He never let me miss a single anniversary, reported his schedule to me in detail every day, and often prepared small gifts to surprise me. I also gave him the same dedication. Because of that, the countdown number above our heads had always been X. I naively thought we could continue on, simply and happily. Then came the irony. Suddenly, there was a countdown above our heads. It was like a heavy stone hanging over me, ready to drop at any moment. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I reached out and took Kevin's hand, wanting to confirm if it was all an illusion, but my superpower had its limits. I could only use it on the same person once a day. If I wanted to verify our countdown, I would have to wait until tomorrow. Kevin opened the car door for me like a gentleman, smiling. "Honey, let's go home." I sat in the pre-warmed passenger seat, watching the autumn rain drizzle against the car window, and then glanced at Kevin, who was focused on driving. It was only then that a sense of security slowly returned. At a red light, Kevin noticed something was off with me. He gently brushed his fingers through my hair, patiently asking, "Honey, are you too tired from being abroad? My heart aches for you. How about I take you for a drive to the beach this weekend so you can relax?" Even through 2 layers of clothing, I could feel his warmth clearly. I let out a deep sigh, leaned over, and kissed his cheek. "Thank you, sweetheart." Then, without being able to hold back, I added, "Honey, I'm feeling a bit down today. Clara from our research institute is getting a divorce." She cried the whole way on the plane. "Honey, I want to ask you something. I mean, just hypothetically, if one day we were to get divorced, could you be the one to bring it up first?" I think I'd be too hesitant. Kevin lightly tapped my nose, sounding a little annoyed. "Divorce? Fiona, did you fall for some foreign guy while you were overseas? I'm telling you, divorce is impossible for us. Why should someone else's divorce matter to us? Babe, I love you. I've always loved you, and I will never divorce you in this lifetime." Kevin's determined tone reassured me a lot. I started wondering, maybe I'm just too tired and saw it wrong. After all, there were so many people coming and going in the parking lot. It's entirely possible that I accidentally brushed against someone else and confused their countdown with the one for Kevin and me. Or perhaps Clara's sadness over her divorce had influenced me, causing me to imagine things. As soon as we got home, Kevin got a call from the law firm and was asked to return. Before he left, he gave me a lingering kiss on my forehead. "Honey, I love you." His eyes were sincere and bright, like brilliant stars shining in the night. How could someone like Kevin possibly divorce me? When I got home, I didn't feel like eating. I just lay on the couch, playing with my phone. But no matter which social platform I scrolled through, I couldn't find any clues. Kevin's profile picture was still our wedding photo. His posts were always either updates from work at the law firm or pictures of me. Each post about me received countless likes from mutual friends, who genuinely seemed to envy our happiness. If it wasn't his problem, then could the problem lie with me? After we got married, Kevin didn't want me to struggle, so he worked tirelessly day and night to build his career. In just 2 short years, he went from being an intern lawyer to becoming a partner at the firm. Every day after work, he would rush to pick me up at the research institute. And it seemed I had never proactively waited for him. Could it be that my behavior made him feel like all the effort was one-sided? The following afternoon, I left work an hour early and waited at Kevin's law firm with his favorite iced Americano in hand. When Kevin came out, I ran up to him suddenly. "Honey, I came to pick you up after work." Kevin instinctively stepped back a few steps. When he realized it was me, his expression changed to one of pure happiness, and he couldn't hide the smile on his face. "Sweetheart, what made you think of coming to pick me up?" I wrapped my arm around his, nuzzling close to him playfully, then handed him the iced Americano. I wanted to be considerate since my hubby works so hard, but soon, I couldn't keep smiling. A large number appeared above Kevin's head, showing our countdown to divorce, 54. The upsetting scene played in my mind again. He took the iced Americano from me, looking disgusted, and threw it straight into a nearby trash can. I looked at him pitifully. "Honey, what's wrong?" This is the iced Americano I waited in line to get for you. It's your favorite. Kevin coldly replied. When did I ever say I love iced Americano? I like coconut milk latte. Fiona, stop bothering me, okay? Just sign the divorce papers. In that moment, I almost lost my balance. Kevin quickly wrapped his arm around me. Babe, how many times do I have to tell you not to wear such high heels just because they look good? You almost fell just now. Good thing I reacted fast. Look, those shoes have rubbed your feet all red. I buried my face in Kevin's chest, trying to hide my overwhelming panic, my whole body trembling. Why was this happening? Even after I made changes, the divorce countdown continued. Was it that I wasn't doing enough? I couldn't help but express my thoughts, and Kevin's expression only grew darker. I thought he was about to get mad, but instead he said, Sweetheart, you're already perfect. Don't be so hard on yourself. Is it your colleague's divorce that's been affecting you these past few days? Making you so distracted? Stop overthinking. My silly girl, because of the limitations of my ability, I couldn't just tell him about the divorce countdown I could see. I forced a smile and swallowed my anxiety. Kevin's law firm had been busy recently. As soon as he was off work, a few clients with lawsuits arrived. He had no choice but to drop me off at my parents' house for dinner. As soon as he parked the car at the door, we saw Mom taking out the trash. Mom greeted us with a warm smile. Come on in, Kevin. Kevin took out a few boxes of supplements from the trunk, apologizing a bit as he spoke. Mom, I've got some work to take care of at the law firm, but here are some supplements for you and Dad. Then he pinched my cheek and watched until Mom and I went inside the house. Back at home, my parents couldn't help but express their thoughts. Kevin, we've watched him grow up. He's not just kind. He's amazing to Fiona. Our daughter really married the right man. Absolutely. I felt a bit lost. Even my parents, who always saw through people's hearts, said so. Then why would Kevin want to divorce me? I sat in my room, taking out a photo album from the drawer, looking at the memories of Kevin and me, captured in those photos. I made a silent decision. I want to change the future with Kevin. I can't give up on this marriage. Before, I had encountered a similar situation. A colleague from the Research Institute was only a week away from her divorce countdown with her husband. But later, through both of their efforts to reconcile, it finally turned into X. Now, I want to try as well. If I were to give up all these years of our love just because of a cold, numerical countdown, without doing anything, I couldn't do it. Mom had made some pigeon soup with morel mushrooms and asked me to take it to Kevin in an insulated container. I texted Kevin, but when I arrived at Kevin's law firm, I heard loud yelling. Helen, how dare you take a divorce case without even knowing the basic marriage laws? The trial is in 3 days. Look at the material you've prepared. Is this something a sane person would write? Get out! It was Kevin's voice. Through the frosted glass, I could see Kevin slamming the desk, unrestrainedly berating the young woman in front of him. The other people at the firm were nearby. Some looked approving, while others seemed to want to intervene but didn't dare. Actually, I wasn't unfamiliar with Helen. She had joined the firm as an intern 2 months ago and had been officially hired just a month ago. She caused quite a few problems at work. She wasn't familiar with marriage laws, nor criminal laws, didn't know how to use office software, and even managed to make the printer smoke while printing documents. Yet the firm decided to keep her. At that time, Kevin had complained to me in frustration. The partners say Helen is pretty, makes us look good when we go out. We're a respectable law firm. Why hire a pretty vase with no use? Now, the young woman stood in a black professional suit, her face flushed, crying in front of Kevin. Kevin showed no intention of sparing her. The atmosphere at the law firm was unbearably tense, until a few of the men finally dared to step in, pulling the documents from the table. Boss, Helen just graduated. Yeah, let's not be too harsh on the young girl. Look, we're working late anyway. Why don't we help her sort out the material? Someone sharp-eyed spotted me, quickly bringing me forward as a peace offering. Boss, the boss's wife is here to see you. The cold atmosphere instantly thawed. Kevin, who had just been fiercely scolding Helen, immediately managed an awkward smile upon seeing me and rushed over to greet me. Sweetheart, you're here. I think I can smell pigeon soup with morel mushrooms. Everyone else looked relieved. One of the young men teased with a smile. Boss. The boss's wife sure has the boss wrapped around her finger. When it's time to leave, he's always rushing to pick up his wife. My face turned slightly red. Another person added, Boss, can I have a bowl of that pigeon soup with morel mushrooms? I bet it's really good. Kevin shielded both me and the soup protectively, scolding with a smile. Get lost. Get lost. This was sent by my wife for me. None for you lot. But the moment he hugged me, I saw the number, 53, above his head. In a daze, the scene of our divorce flashed before me. In front of the Civil Affairs Bureau, Kevin was passionately kissing a curvaceous woman, while I stood beside them, sobbing desperately, my voice full of disbelief. Kevin, so you're divorcing me because of her? Are you even human? Kevin pushed me away, his tone filled with annoyance. How many times do I have to say it? Fiona, we're already divorced. Don't blame her. If you've got a problem, take it up with me. The woman in his arms suddenly turned around. It was Helen. The same girl Kevin had just scolded harshly today. 53 days later, she was the new lover Kevin embraced and kissed. Chapter 2. I almost thought it was my imagination, until Helen took the tissue handed to her by someone, wiped her tears dry, softly thanked them, and then walked over to me, her voice still nasal from crying. Sister Fiona. Hello. She didn't call me boss's wife like the others but naturally addressed me as Sister Fiona. I looked up and studied her. Her eyes were shy and timid, and she quietly glanced toward Kevin, who was standing next to me. In an instant, she quickly looked away in what seemed like panic, showing a few traces of regret and bitterness. Noticing that I was watching her, she looked up and met my gaze, her eyes showing a hint of smugness and even a bit of challenge that only girls would understand. My heart sank immediately, but before I could say anything, Kevin suddenly stepped between us, commanding Helen, go sort out this divorce case. Then his tone softened, and he said gently, Sweetheart, let me take you to the lounge. Helen immediately looked down, pouting with dissatisfaction. I clenched my fist, struggling to maintain the smile on my face, but without any valid reason to act on my emotions. I had to suppress my mixed feelings and followed Kevin out. The lounge was quiet. I served Kevin a bowl of soup, watching him drink it with a satisfied expression. There were so many questions I wanted to ask, but I didn't know where to begin. What could I say? Should I just say, Kevin, 53 days from now, you'll divorce me for Helen? If you don't want that to happen, you should fire her right away. It was absurd, and to Kevin, it would be incredibly unfair. Kevin was completely oblivious, still sharing amusing stories from his day with me. I took deep breaths, trying to calm down. Maybe I was just overthinking things? Until a knock came at the door. Helen peeked her head through the gap in the door, looking playful and cute. Greeting us, boss. Sister Fiona. Sorry to interrupt, but they just taught me how to do it once, and here's the material I organized. Please review it, boss. Without waiting for permission, she squeezed into the lounge. She approached Kevin naturally, pushing the laptop toward him, half leaning on the table next to Kevin, scrolling with the mouse as she explained, her voice noticeably softer than usual. Sitting nearby, I felt extremely uncomfortable. Helen was standing way too close. Kevin only needed to lift his head slightly, and if he wasn't careful, he'd bump into her chest. But he seemed unaware of how awkward the situation looked. He put down the soup and listened patiently as Helen finished speaking. He nodded with satisfaction. Not bad for someone I trained, although there are still a few minor mistakes. It's a lot better now. Helen beamed brightly, quickly glanced at me, and said, Thank you, boss. She then took a quick look at the thermos I brought, her face full of envy. Sister Fiona. That soup smells amazing. I hope I'll have that kind of luck someday too. Suddenly, she covered her mouth, her face showing a look of sudden realization. Her expression was filled with regret as she said, Oh, did I interrupt you too? My apologies, boss. I shall take my leave. Please carry on. Kevin watched Helen leave the lounge, and he smiled. Not bad. She's making progress. My heart sank suddenly. If Kevin had a picture of himself now, he would see that his eyes were filled with a hint of fondness. The countdown to our divorce weighed heavily on my heart, refusing to dissipate. It was exhausting, like a sudden illness. I developed a high fever that wouldn't break, feeling dizzy. I called in sick at the research institute and spent the day in bed. When Kevin found out, he immediately came home to check on me. My mom also came over, carrying a large bag of medicine. How did Fiona get sick all of a sudden? And so badly too? Kevin looked at me, full of concern. He bent down, and after my mom left, he let me lean on his chest, gently patting my back like he was comforting a child. Sweetheart, get well soon. Once you're better, I'll take you on a vacation. But in that instant when he touched me, a glaring 52 appeared above his head. At the same time, I saw the scene of our divorce again. This time, besides Kevin, Helen, and me, my parents were also there. Mom was wiping away her tears while helping me up from the ground, glaring at Kevin. Kevin, what did we do to you? What did Fiona do wrong? How could you do this to Fiona? After everything our families have been through together? Kevin spoke coldly. Auntie, I was wrong before. I've always seen Fiona as just a sister. Don't use our family's history to emotionally manipulate me. Scalding tears blurred my vision. Kevin hurriedly brushed my hair away from my face, wiping away my tears, and softly comforted me. Sweetheart, what's wrong? What could be making you so sad? The illness weakened my mental defenses. If it weren't for my abilities' limitations, I might have blurted out the truth about seeing the divorce countdown. I had no choice but to ask, Kevin, will you grow tired of me and force me to divorce you? Kevin kept answering me over and over again. I will never divorce you. Sweetheart, I've loved you since we were kids. Sweetheart, how could I bear to divorce you? How could I live without you? Drowsy and feverish, I slowly drifted off to sleep. Before I fell asleep, a thought suddenly surfaced in my mind. Kevin loves me so much. How could he possibly cheat? If I drive Helen away, making sure she has no chance to interact with Kevin, wouldn't that mean we don't have to get divorced? For a few days, things remained peaceful. I was thinking about using the excuse of preparing for pregnancy to ask Kevin to spend less time at the law firm when Helen made another mistake. When Kevin got home, he couldn't help complaining to me. This time, I didn't remain silent. Instead, I tried giving my opinion. Helen is a top graduate, so why does she keep messing up? How about letting her manage the law firm's short video operations instead? Kevin was a bit surprised. After a while, he looked up at me, hesitated, and finally nodded. Soon, when I brought Kevin some soup again, I didn't see Helen. I heard she was now in charge of the law firm's short video content and was busy editing videos every day. While I was lost in thought, I overheard a few guys teasing each other. Did you see Helen's latest post? She said she's recently started dating someone. Guess we have no chance now. What are you even thinking? Helen's beautiful, great figure. It's only normal for her to date someone. I let out a sigh of relief. Helen was now dating someone else and had no contact with Kevin. This time, everything was back on track, right? Sure enough, when I held Kevin's hand again, the countdown above his head was no longer a cold number. Instead, it glowed with an X. Just when I was feeling proud, I noticed Kevin seemed distracted. I couldn't help but ask, what's wrong? Did something happen? Kevin snapped out of it, shook his head, and put a slice of apple in his mouth. I looked at him in confusion, swallowing the words. Aren't you the one who hates apples the most? As an inappropriate thought entered my mind, Kevin seemed distracted only after hearing Helen had started dating someone. Did he regret it? After the research project was granted a patent, I became so busy that I hardly had time to eat. During this time, Kevin kept messaging me. He said, Honey, I miss you so much. It's been days since you last came home. Do you miss me? He said, Honey, people say that one day apart feels like 3 autumns. We've already been apart for so many autumns. He said, Honey, you didn't come home again today. Another day of lonely nights for me. So unfair. Messages came from morning till night, each one full of concern, becoming my solace amidst the exhaustion. After finally submitting our research findings, everyone was utterly exhausted. My colleague couldn't help but complain. Living and eating at the research institute, I almost forgot what my husband looks like if it weren't for our daily video calls. Everyone burst into laughter. Suddenly, I had the urge to see Kevin immediately, to tell him face to face how much I missed him, until I arrived at Kevin's law firm and heard the sound of sobbing coming from the lounge. Boss. How could he do that? My heart jumped into my throat, and I gently pushed open the door to the lounge. In the spacious room, there were only two people. Helen was sitting on Kevin's lap, crying softly. She looked heartbroken, and my husband was handing her tissues while gently comforting her. Hearing the door open, they both looked up. Seeing me, Kevin's hand, holding the tissue, froze in midair. He then abruptly pushed Helen away, stood up, and instantly put some distance between himself and Helen. "Honey, why are you here?" he asked. Helen quickly wiped away her tears with a tissue and looked up to explain. "Fiona, please don't misunderstand. There's nothing going on between the boss and me. It's just..." I interrupted her and asked, "Why are you crying so much? What happened?" Helen was stunned. Maybe she didn't expect me to be so calm. She awkwardly turned her head away. Instead, Kevin explained for her. She got cheated on and was distracted at work. I asked her about it and thought to comfort her. Instantly, a surge of anger and malicious thoughts clouded my mind. I could hardly control my emotions as I looked at Kevin and Helen. Accusations and blame almost burst out of my mouth. Realizing this, I froze. My superpower had already told me that everything I had done had reversed the outcome of my divorce with Kevin. So at this moment, maybe Kevin comforting Helen was genuinely out of concern from a boss to an employee. Am I overthinking this? Am I maliciously speculating about Kevin and Helen's relationship? Am I competing with another woman for no reason? While I was lost in thought, Helen had already left the lounge, leaving only Kevin and me. He held my shoulders, pulling me out of my reflection, and spoke with some concern. "Fiona, I was really just comforting her. I reflected on it just now and realized that in the future, I should leave that kind of thing to someone else. I'm a married man, and doing things like that again would be crossing a line. It would make you uncomfortable. I'll avoid interacting with her as much as possible from now on. Trust me, okay?" Kevin's openness made me feel ashamed. I thought about it, then finally nodded and chose to be honest about what I felt inside. "I do feel a bit uncomfortable," I admitted. "But since you're willing to be open with me, I'm also willing to trust you. Just next time, please don't do that. I really can't help feeling jealous." Kevin pulled me into a hug and nodded. "You're wonderful. Honey, I love you." For the next few days, Kevin's countdown still showed an X. Just when I thought our marriage was out of crisis, I noticed that Kevin, who had always been transparent, started acting evasive. The weekend was our 7th wedding anniversary. I ordered a pair of diamond rings, engraved with our initials, intending to surprise him during dinner. But as soon as he came home, he seemed lost in thought. I shared with him the dishes I'd prepared that day, but all I got were perfunctory hums in response. He was glued to his phone, like he was waiting for a reply from someone. Not only that, but he kept the screen away from me, though from the reflection on the glass, I could see he was in a chat window. Who was he chatting with? What was it about that was more important than talking to me? I started overthinking, until dinner, when I took out the diamond rings. He looked happy, taking several photos of the rings. "Honey, you put so much thought into this," he said. I forced a smile, not wanting to ruin his mood on our anniversary, until he went to the bathroom, leaving his phone on the table. I couldn't resist my curiosity. After hesitating for a long time, I finally picked up his phone. What greeted me was Kevin's chat interface with someone saved as sweetheart. I knew right away who it was. The messages shared every little detail of his day, including the diamond rings he had just photographed. Kevin chose the best angled photo and sent it with the note, "The ring is beautiful, but it would look even better on you." The boulder that had hung over my head finally dropped, shattering my belief in our marriage. I smiled bitterly. Before Kevin came back, I locked his phone and placed it back on the table, smiling at him as he put the ring on my finger. I asked him, "Honey, Do you think we'll ever get divorced? Kevin scolded me, annoyed. Honey, it's our 7th wedding anniversary today. Why are you talking nonsense again? Saying such inauspicious things? We'll never get divorced. But when I touched his hand, I saw the countdown over his head change from X to 15. The scene before my eyes changed too. Kevin stood in front of me, looking at me coldly. Fiona, when will you stop? He said. I know it was wrong for me to bring up divorce, but you can't force love. I love Helen. I can't live without her. Please, just let us be. Be a good person for once, can't you? Coming back to the present, seeing Kevin pretending to focus on his food while glancing at his phone from time to time, I let out a heavy sigh. That's it, Kevin. I did my best. In the countdown curse, I lost. And I lost completely. I pretended to brush back my hair, but actually, I was quietly wiping away the tears at the corners of my eyes. I asked calmly, "It seems you haven't mentioned Helen lately. How is she doing?" Kevin instinctively tightened his grip on his phone, then realized how abrupt his reaction was. He awkwardly smiled and released his hand. He smiled faintly. "Helen? I haven't seen her in a long time. Why do you ask all of a sudden?" I shook my head, watching the beads of sweat slowly rolling down Kevin's forehead, and gave a sweet smile, using an excuse to change the subject. But in my heart, I'd already made a decision. Kevin, I don't want you anymore. For the next few days, Kevin was extremely attentive. He picked me up from work every day, and he cooked every night, trying out different dishes. I smiled without comment. I accepted Kevin's kindness without question. And I didn't care how far things had gone with Helen. He had no idea that I was already prepared to divorce him at any moment. I was waiting for an opportunity, a chance to bring up the divorce naturally. And sure enough, I got my chance. During a previous visit to Kevin's firm, I had added the receptionist Anna's WeChat. Anna was graceful and kind. I stared at her message. Boss's wife. I heard that the boss is having dinner with Helen tonight at Black Pearl. If it's convenient for you, you might want to check it out. Her reminder was tactful and considerate. I thanked her, then asked my parents to accompany me to a shopping mall near the restaurant. I bought a few outfits for my mom and a new pair of shoes for my dad. When we got to the top floor of the mall, I walked in, step by step. With each step, my feet were shaking. I was here, finally. It was time to say goodbye to the man I'd loved throughout my entire youth. Until I got to the window. With years of familiarity, I recognized Kevin immediately. Helen was sitting across from him. They seemed to be arguing about something, and the argument grew more heated, until Kevin suddenly stood up, moved to sit next to Helen, pulled her into his arms, and kissed her passionately without a care for anything around them. At that moment, bile rushed up from my stomach. I bit down hard, forcing back the urge to vomit. By now, my parents had also seen everything clearly. My mother gasped, holding on to me with one hand while stopping my father from rushing in to hit someone with the other. "Don't lose your temper, Fiona. Don't scare Mom." My forehead was covered in cold sweat, my vision blurred with black spots. But I still forced myself to take out my phone and called Kevin. Kevin saw my name on the caller ID and was so startled that he immediately pushed Helen away, trembling as he picked up the phone. "Where are you right now?" If one listened closely, they could hear the tremble in my voice. Kevin instinctively answered, "Honey, I'm at the office, working late." I had him on speaker, and my parents' faces turned dark with anger. I let out a cold chuckle. "Really? How does the sturgeon taste?" Kevin seemed to sense something, and he immediately looked out the window, locking eyes with me. I think that moment must have been unforgettable for him. Caught cheating by his wife, and not just that, caught by his in-laws too, with no chance to lie his way out. I watched his shocked expression and burst into laughter. "Kevin, how disgusting can you be? Let's get a divorce." After that, I grabbed my parents and walked away. On the way back, my parents remained silent, but they kept glancing at me. I kept my expression calm. Once we were home, Dad hugged me, gently patting my back, and sighed. "If you want to cry, just cry." It felt like an emotional dam had been broken, and the tears started pouring down, soaking his shirt. That night, Kevin almost broke my phone with his constant calls and filled my phone with countless messages. Even my father-in-law and mother-in-law called to apologize, humbly asking for my forgiveness. I understood. After all, maintaining such a close bond after being mere strangers, connected only by living next door for so many years, wasn't easy. It was Dad who answered the call. He only had two things to say to them: all the years we've known each other end here. I don't want my daughter to think of these shameful matters every time she sees you. Though I blocked Kevin's contact on every platform, he still managed to catch me at the entrance of the research institute. Afraid I would run away, he grabbed my arm tightly, pulling me to the side, his eyes red and filled with a pleading look. Honey, how can you be so heartless? We grew up together with all those years of love. How can you talk about divorce so easily? Are you giving up on our family's feelings too? I know I made a mistake. Can't you give me another chance? Without you, I won't survive. I only felt tired. Why did you cheat? When did it start between you two? Kevin hung his head. The 6 feet 3 inches man suddenly seemed to have lost all his strength, crouching as he covered his face, his voice choked with emotion. I don't really know what happened to me. At first, I really disliked Helen, but slowly I started to feel something for her. I thought she reminded me a lot of you when we were young, always needing my protection. You were always at the research institute, busy with work, barely coming home. She, on the other hand, was always reaching out to me, dressing so seductively, and eventually, it happened. He paused, raising 3 fingers as if making a vow. But I swear, it was just a platonic relationship between us. The most was just that one time when you caught us. I couldn't help myself and laughed out loud. You share everything with her, talk to her all night. She sits on your lap. You passionately kiss her. And now you tell me that it was just that once. Do you think I believe you? Kevin's eyes turned red, and his voice grew hoarse. Honey, I truly know I was wrong. Please don't divorce me, okay? I'll change. I'll change right now. I'll fire her and never contact her again, okay? From beginning to end, I remained calm. Kevin, after all these years together, you let yourself be seduced by someone you just met. And now you have the nerve to swear to me like this. Do you even have a conscience? Kevin's face went deathly pale. Him being asked for a divorce was what he deserved. After a long pause, he finally spoke, his voice almost a whisper. Okay, I agree. Let's get divorced. When we came out of the Civil Affairs Bureau after finalizing the divorce, he tried to stop me again, still hoping for reconciliation. I sighed, stepping around him and getting into the car. Before I got in, I looked back at Kevin. For the first time, when I touched him, I didn't have to worry about seeing his countdown reset from X to some specific number. I no longer had to torment myself, wondering if it was something I did that caused the relationship to break. 1 year later, my research results won an international gold medal. Throughout that year, Kevin kept changing his phone number to send me messages, gifts, and even visited my parents. Even when faced with rejection, he never gave up. But unfortunately for him, I was now a well-known scientist, and I would never let myself feel insecure over a failed marriage again. On my phone, Anna was chatting with me, often sharing gossip from the law firm. Anna told me that Kevin had, indeed, broken up with Helen. Half of it was because Kevin regretted it, and the other half was because Helen found a new target. Helen met a real estate tycoon at a drinking party, and she went straight to throw herself at him. Unfortunately for her, the tycoon was quite sharp and only treated her as a one-night stand. Afterward, he dumped her. After getting rejected, Helen went to Kevin, asking him to take her back. But Kevin didn't want anything to do with her. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have divorced my wife. They say Helen cried as she left the law firm. Anna, still waiting for my reply, couldn't help but ask again. Fiona, aren't you interested in the gossip about your ex-husband? Without even thinking, I replied, not interested. There was a long silence from the other side before she responded with 2 words, you're unstoppable. As I waited in front of the law firm for Anna to get off work so we could go shopping together, I ran into Kevin. His joy almost overflowed on his face. Fiona, did you come here to see me? Anna bypassed him, proudly walking towards me. Fiona. Let's go. Kevin was stunned, quickly stepping in front of me, asking, Fiona, won't you forgive me yet? I sighed helplessly. A year of busyness had blurred my memory of that failed marriage. I smiled faintly. Kevin, just look ahead. Kevin persisted, saying, Fiona, are you really going to ignore my changes? My efforts over this past year? Can we get married again? A sudden, urgent ringtone interrupted him. It was my new boyfriend, a young actor 6 years my junior, shamelessly complaining over the phone about how much he missed me. I smiled sweetly as I replied to him. Kevin's face turned pale. As long as you agree to remarry me, I promise I'll never cheat again in my life. And what about the man on your phone? Can he promise you he won't cheat? I couldn't help but laugh. Kevin, did you think of this outcome when you cheated on me? You, a law firm boss. Shouldn't you be embarrassed? Kevin was dumbfounded on the spot. I linked arms with Anna, waved goodbye to Kevin with flair, and walked away. For a while, I wondered why. After the car accident, God gave me such a superpower. Wasn't it purely to torment me, leading me to constantly stress myself out? It wasn't until the day of the divorce that I finally understood. This superpower was just an ordinary timer. The direction things took was always decided by people. Some people are fated to meet. Missing them can also be a blessing, and my wonderful journey as a leading woman had just begun.